Hello, my name is Anthony, aka Sabrina, the psychic from Pokemon. Well, in role playing, I'll be role playing as Sabrina, the psychic from Pokemon. Um, and we're doing another like psychic role playing game. But like it's basically where we just talk about several things and we role play, we quote other people, we try to make it fun. And if you've ever wondered what like someone who sees the future reads minds, clairvoyance, like things like that, how that works, you also get to see how that works actively. Um, uh, Works better with participation and open-ended questions though. But like maybe we can do that when there's enough people who see these videos and want to do a live stream or want to come on to our private live stream, invite only. Just comment below if you want to get included on that. Uh, yeah, and he says, um, anyway, so well, hold on. Okay, so we're gonna talk about like today. Trump just won the presidency, and he's president now. And in episode 5, we spoke a lot of blessings over Trump and things related to Trump. We're gonna do like a part 2 of that, and basically the title is uh more blessings for better choices and performance. So it's just like a part 2. We're gonna bless them more if they make this right choice. We're gonna bless them less or tell them that they might lose blessings if they do like really epically bad choices. And so we basically just talk about that, and it's so that Trump doesn't have to go in flying blind. Yeah. So yeah. So let's start. Um, we're gonna bless Trump, and the only things that I have against his policies, if I were looking at now, if he changed his mind, or if I read wrong from the source that I saw, or the source got it wrong, it was something like ending birthright citizenship for children of Hispanics and people who are coming in from the borders. That has been a long-standing almost right, and I think and I think that if that's not is that outlined in the Constitution, like it might be just kind of um a little much. I don't support that. I the blessing of being born in America should always remain being a blessing. Now another thing too, you have to be proven that you were born in America. So if you don't have any papers, or your papers don't connect to your child, that could be problematic. But if they take like things like fingerprints and DNA, or just yes, they might make an argument that if you don't have if you haven't gone all the way with papers, let's say you take shortcuts and you leave the hospital, or the hospital didn't do their job, right? They have a birth certificate born to this one and this one on this day, right? But do they take fingerprints of the baby? Oh, they probably take like a footprint or something like that. So maybe, well, some people could grow out. I don't know all the details forensically, but like maybe their eyes. Yeah, I think maybe it's something like retina, but I don't know if they scan the retina. So this is kind of weird. So if they don't have any papers proving that they're citizens, I think Trump could not have to end um, birthright uh citizenship. All he has to do is basically, there's cameras, but there's not a camera in the room sometimes of the hospital, and just all these different things. If you can't tag the citizenship to the child, especially when his mom and dad are deported, unless they offer the child into an orphanage safely, they opt for an orphanage kind of delivery, and then the child can grow up in the orphanage, and I guess from a certain they could be vetted temporarily, unless like someone gets lost in the process, but they could be vetted temporarily by the hospital, right? So it just depends on how he wants to do it, but like I don't see him being powerful enough to stop that. I think that it feels like a God blessing America kind of thing. I don't think he. It feels like he does not have the power to stop that, even if he thinks he does. But we'll see. We'll see. Okay, so we'll start off with that. More blessings if he doesn't stop birthright citizenship. He will lose out on blessings. He'll lose some blessings if he KOs or knocks out birthright citizenship. Other things. Let's see. I want Trump to be well informed, and I'm just probably gonna lose like literally a third or more of the people viewing this video, or like that'll ever view this video. But read the scriptures about, we are in that time, if not like already there, or approaching, or if not approaching it. We are in the time of like Revelations, that final period where then here is the patience of the saints. He that kills will be killed. He that leads to captivity will be led captive. That's in Revelations. Even earlier, if you think you can escape that, even earlier, Jesus says, "He that taketh the sword shall die by the sword." But with a provision in Peter, in the book of Peter, the sword is allowed for government and law enforcement. That's not, if you just isolate the scriptures to those things, that is not Second Amendment friendly. I'll just leave it at that. Well, no, I won't leave it at that. I need to be clear about it. If you want the most protection, we have a course somewhere in our app, in our in our invite only live stream, where we were talking about the course building your ultimate defense when your gun and bug out location and bug out bag fails you. Building the ultimate defense when your gun and bug out bag and bug out location fails you. It's securing every level of defense that you can possibly have in the foreseeable future and in the relevant past and present. It's a great topic. We can go more about it in the snippets. I don't have access to the raw footage of that video, but maybe my associate could get it could maybe put some portions of the video up on YouTube whenever we get it spliced and all that stuff. But anyway, but long story short, when it says God fights for you, and some people effortlessly never have to worry about being shot with a bullet. Some people Michael Boldea and his two daughters. God bless his two daughters. His two daughters have one hell of a parent. Oh, sorry for saying. No, maybe that's inappropriate to address Michael Boldea, one hell of a parent. No. Heavens, yes. Hell no. But anyway, Michael Boldea, someone like him with is not only his past history. Past history doesn't protect you that much, but your present choices influenced by your past history can protect you a lot. And Michael Boldea he's one of the very few people on this planet where I could say prophetically, thus saith the Lord, thus saith Yehovah, thus says the Holy Spirit, Michael Boldea, you shalt never die. It's a blessing that Jesus says in the book of John. He's like, he that believeth on me shall never die. And if he dies, he shall yet live. And I'm going to bless Michael Boldea publicly on radio or on this episode, that he does not have to worry about just he will live even though he dies. I really can strongly feel that for your generation, for you at least, and your two daughters, both you and your two daughters, y'all shalt never die. Thus saith Yehovah, the Lord, thus says the Holy Spirit. And he's one of the only few people that can do that. And he never lifted a gun ever. I made a joke earlier today as I was role playing. It was a policeman stops him. He's like, "Oh wow, you're Michael Boldea. Hey, do you have a concealed carry license for that high praises of yours?" Because remember, in the Bible it says, let the high praises of God be a two-edged sword in their mouth. He's like, hey, can I see your high praises registration? You got a concealed carry for that high praises. Anyway, it's just some fun that I like having. But yeah, that's the closest thing to a sword that he has, or any kind of gun. It's the high praises of God in his mouth. And it's two-edged. It could hurt him, it could hurt others. So yeah, a healthy dose of common sense. And anyway, yeah, he's one of the very few people I can say that. Nathan, I don't know if he has a gun. Might feel like he might be more towards like a gun-like personality if he doesn't have a gun. He might have like a gun-like personality if he does not actually physically have a gun. Stashed away somewhere. Or like associatively stashed away from somewhere. So he doesn't have a gun, but he has like a guy who can come around at any time and back him up with a gun. Like having a backup gun. Look at your heart. Having a backup gun sometimes in the heart is the same thing as having a gun yourself. It reeks of cowardice. And for people as strong as Nathan Leal, he should not have to depend on a gun if he does have a gun. And in the future, if he ever gets tempted with disarming an enemy attacker and getting his gun and firing it, or and any kind of self-defensive maneuvers where he gets a hold of a gun, he should drop the gun and run away, like drop the gun and run, or throw the gun where you're going, and then run towards where the gun is, not to pick up the gun, but just run past the gun. Yeah, if you were being more strategic, maybe dropping the gun to your enemies as you're running away might not be the smartest idea, but just run and throw the gun somewhere random, and just run, because God fights for us, at least post Jesus. Yes, there was one time where he says, let him that doesn't have a sword sell his clothes and buy a sword, right? But here's the thing. Jesus, that was a command. That wasn't anything like a commandment. The commandment back then and now is do not kill. Thou shalt not kill. In Revelations, he that killeth shall be killed himself. He that taketh the sword shall die. That's 3 scriptures justifying the death of the one who carries the gun, who fires the gun, who kills with the gun. And only one place where it says sell your clothes and buy it. And it doesn't even sound good. Sell your clothes. And what if Jesus was like, sell your clothes and buy it if you really need it that badly? And you sell your robes of righteousness away. And you're just naked before God. And remember, Jesus even said somewhere in Revelations or somewhere he that does something or another, let him not be it's like that place in Revelation where it says, "Be ye clothed, do not lose your clothes, lest you be found naked and be ashamed." It's one of those things that I think somewhere in Revelation it's to be clothed by the time he comes. Otherwise, And so right now, end times, Revelation times, there's no time to be selling your clothes and buying a gun. That's totally not what it meant. And it was superseded by he that taketh the sword shall die by the sword. Addressed to the very same people, the very same person who bought the sword just a few chapters earlier. He said, put that away, and he that taketh the sword shall die by the sword. So yeah, there you go. Maybe that was the only thing that killed Peter as an apostle. Peter the apostle, you'd expect one of the apostles to have the promise of shalt never die. What if, even if you are Saint Peter or Apostle Peter, what if even if you are as keen and close to Jesus as the Apostle Peter, just because he took that sword and drew the sword and wielded the sword all those many years ago, what if he died as an apostle? Cruel and unusual death. He died upside down on a cross. That's horrible. What if the only reason he suffered that match is he drew that sword that first day or that first night? So that, big thing to look out for. Not even Peter survived that one. Will you? Yeah, just healthy dose of common sense. But yeah, more blessings on people who do not take the sword, obviously. And way you will lose a lot of blessings, maybe even your own life, if you take the sword eventually. And your quickness of your quickness or fastness of dying is proportional to how violent you are compared to how many people um well, no, it's how violent you are, naturally. Attitude included. Thus says the Holy Spirit. Thus saith the Lord. Thus saith Yehovah. Thus says the Holy Spirit. And if you need a prophetic oomph, there you go. And I can say, here's the thing. I have said a bunch of like, thus saith the Lord's, and thus saith Yehovah, and thus says the Holy Spirit. I've been saying things like that for the past 7+ years. And I have never died from it. I'm perfectly healthy. I'm a little overweight, but not too overweight. I still look pretty great. But yeah, I have not died yet. And I've said so many thus saith the Lord's in public, recorded, like just like if you look at some of my files, or if you have access to some of my files. And so like I've looked around. Like usually people who say thus saith the Lord's and thus saith Yehovah and thus says the Holy Spirit, if they say it and God did not say it, usually they're met with very quick discipline, very quick punishment. It feels like the boogeyman is out to get them. Like they trip over things, things fall from like their dish rack and fall around them. Like it really feels like your life is. It's like Judas in the last moments. You think that every single turn and every single thing you turn is like that movie where like those little like those little demon faces that start like haunting Judas in that movie, like the Passion of the Christ. It starts to feel like that when someone says, "Thus saith the Lord," "Thus saith Yehovah," like the wrong way. You know, usually it's much more dangerous if you say it around the timing or say around like a date. And it's yeah, I've tested a lot of things, and I'm like one of the only like here's the thing. Some people make it like they'll try to accuse me of being over religious, but like I quote from the scriptures a lot, and I base everything from sacred texts and scriptures. Scriptures first and foremost as my sacred texts. And it's really weird. You talk to someone like Johnny Enlow, and he says some things, and I'm like, you said that God showed you those things, right? And he told you those things. Can you tell me? Can you say the phrase "Thus saith the Lord" on the things that you just said that God told you? And Johnny Enlow's like, I don't want to sound over religious. Oh, hold on. If God said it, and it's perfectly okay for prophets and prophesiers to say it, maybe you can build up some people's faith by saying it, like how the prophesiers said it back then. Even in the New Testament, that you can say, "Thus saith the Holy Spirit," thus says the Holy Spirit. Totally, perfectly fine. If you know, and you see them shake their head and like, no. Sometimes no, I'm not gonna do it. I need to be sure. I need it's for something like that. I need to wait for the Lord to tell me. And Steve Schultz, he doesn't say any "Thus saith the Lord." It's Robin Bullock. Robin Bullock does a workaround. He says, the Lord told me," or "I saw the Lord told me," or "I saw the Lord say unto me." But then you ask Robin Bullock, okay, all those things that he told you, say unto you. Just now say, "Thus saith the Lord." Thus says the Holy Spirit. And you don't trap him with it, but you just ask. It's an honest request. Now with that confidence, say, "Thus saith the Lord" just now, and let me record you. It's one thing if they say it privately or on like Christian only radio, but like when you're like, let me record you And can I post it on YouTube? And and he's like, no, I refuse. And okay, that means something. And then you go to like Nathan Liao. He is not unwise enough to ever say, "Thus saith the Lord," like almost ever. And here's the thing: how he does it. That's actually the reason why all these other people probably don't do it. My uncle Valdea shares a similar sentiment, but he has all the history and background of his grandpa. Oh, his grandpa was not afraid to say it. He calls him grandpa, not a prophet, but like his grandpa was not afraid to say it because God actually told him, say it. Write it down, get it right. Say it, write it down, get it right. If God, I'm not God, and God doesn't use my language. But if I were to word it, like if I was around people of the left, I speak as the left, I behave as the left. So to win some of the left. So in other words, in left kind of ways of putting it, he doesn't bullshit with God, and he doesn't bullshit with people. If God says say it, and Dimitri like okay, and Dimitri his life was not compromised enough to allow God to have him. Now Dimitri now say it. And Dimitri, just says it and has people write it down. Has his son translating, or no, not his son, his grandson translating. That's how you do it. Most of the things I do, I always wait for like at least 3 mics to be on me, like 3 mics or 1 mic. I have like 2 cell phones for that purpose, and my mom has a cell phone. I make sure to say all my "Thus saith the Lord's" in public and have it recorded. Not one has failed. If you really logically, has it activated with the conditional? No, but in light of this, it still has not failed. Not one of my "Thus saith the Lord's" have failed. I don't always do it. Some people's like, "Am I gonna die?" And I can't say this. "Thus saith the Lord," you're gonna live. Okay, and I'm like, that's not saying that you're gonna die either. But he's like, but that's not good news. If you can't say that, "Thus saith the Lord," I'll live. I kind of got what that means. And the guy walks away a little bit, annoyed. But it's not my fault. I can't say it if God did not tell me to say it. And Johnny Enlow doesn't say it because God doesn't tell him to say it. Maybe because he's compromised or God doesn't want him to die. And same with Steve Schultz. Steve Schultz doesn't say it because he either is compromised or not worthy enough not worthy enough as in like worthy because of his actions or worthy because or just he doesn't have the oomph for him to say it effectively, or he might die. And Robin Fulligan doesn't say it because he knows he's heard people die because they said it wrong. Every common sense, the more common sense, super spiritual you are, you know not to say it, especially if you have a following of hundreds or thousands, and you say it, and they record you, and it's posted on YouTube. Everything that you say like that, if it doesn't come to pass, it's like, okay, it may be timing, but if it's never going to come to pass, God will cut it short, if not your life. And he doesn't tell you all to say it because you might die. Because you say it wrong, amongst other things. So it's another thing I don't want to go toe to toe with any prophesier. I don't mean to start a conflict. I don't mean to just beat up my brethren. But if I had, I contend for the faith. So just like Paul, like how he says, like, I will come to see your power. I have prayed in tongues more than all of you. He makes a statement like that. I prayed more in tongues more than all of you. And I'll say, like, I haven't shown myself publicly to the world. It wasn't my time. My hour was not yet come. But now that I'm publicly revealing myself to the world, God is publicly revealing myself to the world. I have said more "Thus saith the Lord's" recorded, documented in governmental parsings. Not I wasn't actively recording it, but I know that the government, it's a thing with the government. They parse words that you say into your phone on a ghost file. And they parse these words. Like when you say bomb or Obama, they parse every time you say bomb or Obama, they flag that. And so on my parsings for the past 7+ years, ever since I had a smartphone, all these parsings are on my phone, and not one of my "Thus saith the Lord's" have ever failed. And I say it like so many times to save my life and get me out of trouble, and also, like, when God says say it, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna say it, and I say it, and then people get better, people are healed. I don't die. If I need a miracle and God saves me from homelessness and stuff, and I don't die, just things like that. I'm living in a decent place right now. Well, I'm looking at the time; it's 25 minutes. But okay. So anyway, just anytime I need to challenge another person, like if Christians just provoke like this, like me versus Johnny Enlove or something, just for example, I'll be like, okay, I'm gonna say something with "Thus saith the Lord," and then you're gonna say something, or say nothing without any "Thus saith the Lord," and we'll see who. And I'll always win that. And so, anyway, we're running at 27 minutes. I want to end this at 30. Each episode at 30 minutes. But so it says long thing. Okay. So if let's see, what to bless. Homeless people. Let's see. Yeah, I guess that's mainly it. Any other things that pop out that I talked briefly about gun control. Basically, read the Bible. It's pretty much not for Second Amendment rights. Just FYI, only the government can bear the sword, or in law enforcement. Now, what will stop a corrupt government then? God. But why most people reach out for that gun is they don't believe in God enough, or that they're in good standing with God to have all of God, His protection. I don't need to carry a knife. I don't need to carry anything. The sword that I have is my mouth. Anything that someone hears within earshot, I say, "Thus saith the Lord. Thus says the Holy Spirit. If you are too violent to me, airvac, you will die." And I just all I have to say within earshot. Like literally, it's a projectile. Literally fires in all directions. And if they hear it within earshot, more effectively, they might die. Actually, I don't. Coco, I said that not aiming at anyone particularly. That particular phrase just now. And so, they're just different things. Okay, so we're running at 30 minutes. We've got like 1 minute 30 seconds left. Any other things? Yeah. So people like Michael Valdea and people who really have a deep relationship with God, they never have to depend on a gun. They don't say things of like, if an attacker comes in and I need to defend my family, what will happen? Michael Valdea is like, God got it. He doesn't even have to think about what he's going to do. He doesn't think about self-defense. He doesn't have to learn jujitsu. He needs more Jewish jutsus. No jujitsu, but more like jujutsu. Anyway, I'm gonna laugh, and I'm gonna spend the rest of the moment laughing. You don't need guns. You need the guns of the right arm of the Lord. You don't need jujitsu. You need more jujutsu. The king of the jujutsu. Anyway, yeah, I think that's how I'm gonna close today's episode. Well, we have fun like this all the time on our private chats, on our private live stream, invite only. I don't send the invites, so don't. If you comment, you can request me to put in a good word for you for the invite, and sometimes a lot of people do get the invite if I put in a good word for them, but like I don't actually send out the invites. Someone else very special sends out the invites, and if you get the invite, you'll know why.